Starting with, guys and girls, gentlemen at the back too. 3/4 divided by 4/6. We did the other way around, like with the pictures and stuff first, but now I want to try without pictures. Daniel? Yes, please do.
Okay. So the 4 and the 3 stays, but then the 4 and the 6, the 4 and the 6 switch places, so it's 3/4 and 6/4.
Okay, so that turns into this. 3/4 and 6/4.
Yeah. And then it's still dividing them. Or no, this time it's timing.
Yeah, once you switch, the sign has to switch.
And then you just add them, you just times them, so 3 times 6 and 4 times 4 like you would any other multiple.
Good. 18/16, I totally agree, but now what? Now I'm asking myself, how many complete groups of 16 can I take out of 18? Layla? 1. And how many will be left over? 2 out of? Good. And that's still not simplest.
Why'd you multiply?
1 and 1/8, because 2 can be divided into both those numbers, 1 and 1/8. So that makes sense. Now, if you're wondering why flipping the second one and multiplying works, you can look at any of those pictures up there on the chart, or you can just think of it this way. If I asked you to take $10 and I told you I want half of that, I want half of $10, what could you do? It is $5, and that's an automatic calculation. But what operation am I doing? By 2. Right. So I could divide it by 2 to get $5. Or there's one other operation I could do if you think about it. Times what? 0.5. Good. You have for one reason or another, a much stronger, just natural understanding of decimals than you do fractions. So if I did times 0.5, what am I actually doing? What is 0.5 in fraction form? 1/2. So what I'm actually doing is 10 times a half. This should tell you that 10 divided by 2, which is really 10 divided by 2/1, is the same as 10 times a half. Which should also tell you flipping the second fraction and multiplying instead of dividing does the same thing, which makes it way easier. So looking at the second one. 1 3/4 divided by 2 1/3. How many of you thought, I'm going to get a common denominator? No. Yeah, you don't need it. You don't need common denominators for multiplying and dividing. It's not an efficient way to do it. If you did it, it wouldn't be wrong. If you did it, it would just add extra work that you don't need. Whereas with adding and subtracting, you must have a common denominator. So, anybody care to explain how to do this? What's the first step?
Is that a 1?
Brooke?
I took 2 holes, like the holes, and then put them into the fractions.
So she took the mixed numbers and converted them to improper fractions. Absolutely the correct way to go. So, what is 1 3/4 as an improper fraction? Layla. 7/4. Can you explain how you found that? Like, what were you thinking in your head? Yeah. So she's thinking there's one whole group, so 4 times 1 is 4/4, plus the 3/4 I already have is 7/4. Excellent. Divided by? Shh. Can I get someone to convert 2 1/3 to an improper fraction for me, please? Brooke?
3/7 because I flipped it.
Oh, you're one step ahead of me. So,
7/4.
that's what I wanted. So, she's thinking that she wants to invert that number, which she does. But first, I'm just going to convert it. So 3, I have 2 holes. That means that if I'm thinking 3/3 and 3/3, it's 3 times 2. That's 6. Plus 1 is 7. And that's over 3 as well. Once I'm here, this question gets much more simple. Now, what do I do next? Noor. Flip the second fraction. The word I want you to use is invert, but you're totally right. Invert and multiply. Now, right away, shh, guys,
Casey did it.
I know this answer, and I know it probably in lowest form, or in, simplest form. Because there's a 7 on the top and a 7 on the bottom. Those are going to cancel each other out. Some of you probably did this and got 21 over 28. And then to put it in lowest terms, you realize 7 goes into both. And so you'd go to 3 over 4. And you can do that and that's fine. But if I were you, I would get in the habit. When you see your multiplication ready to go, you start looking for numbers that'll go into both the top and bottom. And right now I see right away there's a 7 on top and a 7 on the bottom. Those will cancel out into 1s. And now what am I left with? A 3 over 4. So it's done already. It's way easier to see what number goes in when it's at this stage than it is when it's at this stage. You totally can. And that's fine. But if I ask you to simplest terms, you'll end up having to go all the way here, which is still fine. This skill is just super valuable in high school when you start doing some of the more advanced stuff. And so I'm not trying to get you to do it now, I'm just trying to get you to maybe consider thinking that way now. Because you will be forced to think that way later.
Quarter.